Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's David Bell, and I'm the Vice-Chancellor here at the University of Reading. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting for a few moments, but the previous talk on accommodation and catering is quite a draw. Slightly disconcertingly, not as big a draw as I would like it to be, because look, this is still also a very busy hall. So thank you very much for coming. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Most of you, I'm sure, will have already been on campus for a little while. My job this afternoon is just to say a little bit more about the University of Reading and why we would like to think that you, if you're a prospective student, would be coming to join us next year. I'm conscious that for parents and friends in the room who are supporting prospective students, you might have been on tour, driving around to university campus after university campus, and it's an important thing to do because coming to university is a really big decision and you want to be comfortable. So it's not just the academic and intellectual fit, it's do I think I could see myself being a student here. So a good thing to visit lots of other campuses. That's the last thing I'm going to say about other universities. All of what now follows is about the University of Reading. So, lots of numbers and metrics and tables around these days, quite a confusing mix, but one that we think speaks to something very important about this university is our global standing. So we're in the top 200 of universities worldwide, and we think that's important because all students, wherever they come from, UK or elsewhere, need to think of themselves as being international. Because whatever you do, whether you leave here and go and work in an international business, or you work in a UK business selling goods and services, whether you work in the public services, you need to have an international outlook. And there are lots of ways in which we believe we are that kind of university. 25% of our students come from outside the UK, about 20% are in Malaysia and South Africa. And we have a whole number of teaching partnerships with universities across the world. One thing I'm also going to encourage you to do if you come here is study abroad. There are amazing opportunities to go and study as part of your degree elsewhere. And all of that adds to an international outlook. But I think our global standing is much more resonant even here, as we've seen very substantial growth in our undergraduate student numbers. This year, the year we've just started, 7% increase in our undergraduates, building on around 5% the year before. And I think there are a number of reasons why that's the case. We've got beautiful facilities and lovely campuses, yes, but we have also, and I think this is so important, the teaching done here is done by our world-class academics, people at the edge of their knowledge, who really understand and translate that knowledge into teaching for undergraduates. So I do hope that you see that sense of global standing as one of those key features that you will consider coming to the university. I mentioned these various tables and metrics and the like, and one is the National Student Survey. And this is a survey that's undertaken of every final year undergraduate student just before they graduate, a term or so before they graduate. We always get around about a 76% response rate. And that's good because the national survey rate is about 70%. And we do well, and I think that's a good indicator on the board. But we also, I think, do well because we're seen to react and to respond to what students say to us. So to give you an example, 3 or 4 years ago now, students were saying, actually, we'd like the library to be open longer. So we now have 24 hours a day opening of the library. So if you're a parent here today, you can be absolutely certain that your son or your daughter will be in the library every hour of every day. Maybe not quite, but the point is that it offers flexibility to students to study when it suits them. The facilities within the library, also in the back of the feedback, have been improved dramatically in recent years, and some of you will have already seen the facilities we've got and the plans for just finishing off that great project that I think will make one of our libraries one of the best in the country. Many of you so far will have had the chance to visit the Students' Union. RUSU, Reading University Students' Union, great organisation. We work really closely with the Students' Union. They've got some fabulous facilities, a new open cafe area at the back, big social space we've helped to pay for. We're also helping to pay for a new nightclub. The nightclub in the Students' Union is the largest in Reading, 2,500. Go there. I don't, but they go there. And it's a very, very popular venue. And again, feedback from students saying, can we do something to even enhance further the facilities? And we've done that. Those of you interested in sport, our sports facilities have undergone a number of major changes recently. Again, building on the feedback. So students are encouraged to say what they really think about the university. Generally, they say very positive things, but we try to build on what they've said to make this university even better. But, you know, when it comes to the real success story, it's not about buildings and facilities and the like. It's about the people who work here and to engage with the students day in, day out. The academic staff I've already mentioned, outstanding people who are committed to giving you the best education. The support staff who are there to ensure that your experience is a rich and fulfilling one. And everyone who makes up the team here, keeping our campus looking beautiful, making sure the food is served on time and to the right quality, making sure everything that goes to make up your student experience is done well and to the highest standard. And I think that's nicely illustrated in the numbers of kind of one-to-one support that we give. However confident you might be, however you think you can cope with things, we all at times just need a bit of extra support. And the university's welfare and counselling services recently ranked the 3rd best in the country on the back of a student survey, which we thought was very significant. So that kind of support is there. New student support centres that have been built that will be your first point of contact for any academic queries you have. People who provide study advice. So if you're not quite sure how things are going in some of your work, you need a bit of extra help to do something, they'll be there. A personal tutor that's assigned to you when you come to the university to guide you through your academic journey. And support in areas like additional maths or additional English, as well as liaison librarians. So each subject having a librarian that will help you just navigate your way through books and other kinds of resources that you need now. So this is a very strong community as a university, and we believe that's well exemplified in all the support that we give to our students. Now, this is a university which in the jargon is known as research intensive as well as teaching intensive. So in other words, we combine teaching that goes on here to undergraduates and postgraduates with research. And just occasionally you'll read in the newspapers and elsewhere, well, universities don't really care about teaching. All that matters to universities is their research. And academics are only interested in their research. I have to say, that's certainly not the case here, and I think it's not the case in the vast majority of British universities. We're very proud of being a highly regarded and very highly ranked research university, but there are benefits that come to undergraduates through that standing. You're getting taught by these people who are great researchers. You're learning the techniques of good research that will help you wherever you end up in life. You will also have the chance to participate in research projects, and we've got some very exciting opportunities there. And crucially, many of our academics are dealing with, tackling, trying to understand the great problems that face the world today. Climate science and the need to tackle change in the climate. Agriculture and sustainability. Finding vaccines for diseases. Addressing great questions of human rights. Managing terrorism in a complicated world. Our academics are researching in these areas, but they're also advising governments. they're providing support, they're involved in all sorts of practical ways. And I think for you as a student, even an undergraduate student, you are benefiting from that connectedness of what goes on in a university into the wider world. So really good for our point of view. And I always say to people in this kind of gathering, if you're coming to university, it probably helps if you're passionate about your subject. That might be a subject you're studying at school or college, or it might be something that you're likely to study when you come here and you've just been attracted to it. That's really important. You'll be surrounded by people who are passionate about the subject, so it probably helps if you feel quite enthusiastic about it as well. But you're also, I'm sure, coming to university because you think this is a good way of enhancing your job prospects when you leave, and that's absolutely right. Absolutely the right motivation to be thinking about university. And here's another stat on the screen. It's a test of how many students are in work after 6 months from graduation. And 6 months is not very long, actually, but perhaps even more important than that stat is the one that sits beneath it. Around 3/4 of our students, only 6 months after graduating, are already in professional, managerial, graduate level jobs, and many more, of course, after 6 months move into such work. So we can do a lot here to help you. A brilliant career service, placement opportunities. Some of you might do years out in industry. I mentioned studying abroad. They'll help you with CV preparation. They'll get you, with your help, to internships. All of these things will help as well. But you need to play a part. So when you come to university, you can be adding to your job prospects. You can do that by volunteering in a number of activities that go on at the university. You can do that by perhaps studying a language. So you don't have to study a degree language at university, like French or Italian or German or Spanish. You can study those either in your spare time at university, or you can do them as part of another degree for a small course. That's a great way of enhancing your career prospects, just being able to speak other languages. And who knows, in the future, some of you might spend time in our new campus in Malaysia. But one other thing that I would emphasise very strongly is that we have many, many part-time job opportunities to offer, both on campus and, of course, in the town of Reading. And we get consistent feedback from employers that graduates who turn up without any part-time work experience are putting themselves now at quite a disadvantage. So on this campus, we have got around 900 part-time jobs. So that's everything from working in the Students' Union, from working in the bars or the restaurants or the catering facilities, working in the library, being a sports assistant, as many students are doing today, being out on open days. All of these are ways in which you will enhance your graduate employability prospects. So we'll do a lot for you, but we can also help you do quite a lot of other things for yourself that will enhance what you do. I've touched on the environment. We're very fortunate. We've got a beautiful campus here. Some of you might be going to the London Road campus to study education or architecture, another wonderful campus. We can't claim credit for the natural environment. That was a higher power that gave us that. But we can claim credit for looking after it. And we take great pride in the way in which the campus looks, because we believe that if you're in a pleasant environment, you're more likely to enjoy your studies. And alongside that goes, of course, the vast majority of student accommodation on campus, or literally, quite literally, just across the road. So there's that, again, sense of campus feeling. And this award mentioned on the table is not just for universities, but it's for the best green spaces around the country. Now, just so you're aware, we're not a university that's just turned up, as it were. We've been around for quite a while. You'll have seen the celebration banners for our 90th anniversary. So in 1926, we formally became a university. But our history goes back beyond that. The technical schools in Reading in the 19th century, University College Reading, which was the proper forebearer of the University of Reading, was set up as an extension college of Christ Church, Oxford, and we're still very proud of that connection to Oxford. And then we became our own university in 1926. Lots that I could say about that history and heritage, but perhaps better that you hear it from the people who are here today.
We've always been a pioneering institution
that's been at the centre of outstanding research and innovation,
that has promoted great teaching and learning,
and one that has challenged convention.
We appointed Britain's first female professor long before women got the vote.
When 1940s Europe lay in ruins, we led the way, opening one of the UK's first business schools.
We pushed the boundaries of research in agriculture, food and nutrition when our grandparents still had ration books.
And when modern keyhole surgery was still a dream, it was Harold Hopkins that paved the way with his pioneering research into fibre optics.
We created the world's first human cyborg when others thought it was just science fiction.
And while the world was still trying to understand the greenhouse effect, we were leading the way in climate science.
It was our chemists who fought to take the lead out of petrol when industry refused to listen.
And our work in the arts and humanities continues to shape the cultural fabric of our society.
We don't just teach students about languages and cultures.
We understand the origins of language itself.
Before mental health even reached the political agenda, we champion psychological therapy.
We've inspired trailblazers in fashion, the arts and business, and now we're helping the next generation of entrepreneurs to follow in their footsteps.
Our international outlook brought us our first overseas student to the UK at the turn of the last century.
And it's now taken our ethos, values and excellence beyond our shores at the start of this century.
We have never looked back.
We will always look forward. The University of Reading, celebrating 90 years of excellence. So, why choose Reading? I hope I've given you some good reasons for thinking of us. Great teaching from outstanding academics, wonderful facilities, a global outlook, great employment prospects. And you might be thinking, yes, well, he's the Vice-Chancellor. He's bound to say that about the university, and I am. But today, your experience will be enhanced by talking to the students, hundreds of them, who are on campus today. For the avoidance of doubt, ladies and gentlemen, we pay them to be here, but we don't pay them what to say. So particularly if you're a prospective student, please, 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 take the opportunity to speak to our students, because they are truly the best ambassadors there are for studying at the University of Reading. Thank you very much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day.